Hey you! Yeah, you listening. Do you love our podcast? Do you often find yourself wondering how you can help make it better? Head on over to patreon.com/newampnetwork and check out all the great stuff you can get for supporting what we do. But this isn't the only way to help. Review us on iTunes and tell your friends about our great content. On this episode of Best Podcast NA, so many cool skins.
Nerf back comes a knockin'.
Bjergsen is back again.
Zyra support 2 electric bugaloo.
We have a special guest.
Summoner tips.
Results of our second Twitter giveaway and more on this episode of Best Podcast NA.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Welcome back to Best Podcast NA for Monday, March 24th, 2014, the only League of Legends podcast on the New Amp Podcasting Network. I am Brian Haig, aka Wintermall.
And I am Julian Gould, aka Jokusis.
And I am John Haig, aka Ryan Peppers.
Every week we bring you the newest tips, strategies, opinion, and news about League of Legends, the LCS, and more. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing well, man. I'm happy. I'm finally on spring break, so it's good. Living the life.
He likes the boys.
That intro was so weird because I'm used to reading it out as two people, and so I kind of said, and I am Julian Gould, aka Jokusis, and it kind of sounded like it should end there.
I know, it's so weird adding in the extra stuff, but we have John here. He is my brother, and he also plays League, not as hardcore as Julian and I, and he's actually been playing a lot of Hearthstone recently.
Yeah, it's good, man. I love Hearthstone. It's fun.
And then you get to complain at me about all the rush decks that beat you every time.
Dude, those warlocks, man, they get you, especially because I played a late game druid, so.
You play a lot of druid, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I'm really committed to it and started to really pick up some of the more like the epics for it, or at least trying to get the epics. And I've been trying to find the best way to earn gold, and I figured out the arena seems to be the best way. I feel like you get the most for your buck there, and it really. Yeah, there's no. I was just buying the packs one at a time, but the only time that ever paid off was when I pulled Ragnos from a pack. I was just like, yes! He's like one of the best legends.
You're a lot luckier than I am with pulling from packs. All I ever got was a legendary pirate card, and I promptly disenchanted it to just work on stuff for a priest deck.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw it, I was like, this is awesome. And I was just so impressed with him. He's won me so many games, but he is the only legend I own.
I haven't gotten a legendary yet, and I've probably opened up a good 13 packs. So,
Really?
yeah.
But I guess we have a lot to talk about on Hearthstone later on. So I want to try out these new little show intros that I've done. So they're all about 5 to 6 seconds. So I'm going to start with this LCS one and see how it sounds. Oh, well, I kind of played another one. But we like to start off the show talking about LCS, big plays, picks and bans of note, just kind of a lot of cool stuff that happened in the pro scene. So Julian, you want to lead us off here?
Okay, so generally I like to start out noting kind of the picks and the bans of the LCS this week, anything different that was picked, any contested characters or champions. This weekend, actually, we saw a lot more Ryze come out. Contested, especially that first day on Saturday. I think he was contested 3 times. 3 out of the 4 games, he was either banned or picked. So you're seeing people actually opting for that Ryze. I think there was a Ryze mid too as well from Skara in
Most
Big
people are
Toss.
playing him top, aren't they?
Yeah, it's mostly top, but I think Skara did grab him for mid. Oh no, maybe not. He grabbed Orianna for mid, and Cruiser grabbed him top. I remember that game.
Was that the game that TSM completely destroyed Dignitas?
No, it was the game they were facing against someone who was playing. I think they were playing Aatrox, but it wasn't TSM. TSM wasn't playing Aatrox. I'd like to say CLG.
Wasn't that the game where the Aatrox got away with a sliver of health and you and I were
Yeah.
both just screaming at the screen?
That was a crazy play. That's actually written down. I wanted to talk about that, so.
We can save that for later then.
Yeah. Other bans, we're seeing a lot of Jace bans still against Cruiser. So looks like people are still pretty threatened. I don't know if Cruiser has been playing Jason scrims or something, and they see that he's quite strong with him, so they've been banning him out because he's only played one game as Jace, and he played well. I mean, I'll give him that, but does it really warrant a whole ban just for Cruiser?
That was the game against Zion Spartans Jax where he first brought out Jace, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And he plays him differently than the Jace of the past, where he was maxing Jace's W to get the extra auto attack harassment on the Jax. I don't know if he still plays it that way, but it seemed to work pretty well.
Yeah, it might be just in certain lane matchups he does that too, right?
Probably. Otherwise, you probably just want to max the QE for the giant shock blast.
Mm-hmm. Poking damage. Let's say hello to Evelyn again, because Evelyn is now big flavor of the month, at least in LCS. Not so much in solo queue, at least from what I've played. I'm not seeing Evelyn that much, but lots of the pro players are now picking up Evelyn's. They like to run a different kind of build than before. Originally, she would be built really, really bursty, kind of a AP assassin, but now she's kind of being built quite tanky, almost not quite 80, like a hybrid tank.
You kind of take the words right out of my mouth here. I was going to say that we haven't seen her since the beginning of the season, and back then she was a very AP heavy champion, whereas now people are running in and grabbing Randuins with her so they can hit the ultimate slow and then be in the middle of the team. Or no, yeah, hit her ultimate and then pop the Randuins to keep people just slowed down for the rest of the team, which they're probably running a Sivir to come in and rush around and kind of take everyone else out.
So is she more of a tanky control?
Yeah, they're running her a lot tankier nowadays. I think.
Yeah, she definitely is a controlled champion, especially for the early game. She creates a lot of pressure in the early game. Her counter jungling is pretty good. Her early ganks is ridiculous because there is no huge counter to it because I'm pink of the new pink wards, and then she scales decently well when you build her that way as just kind of a initiator with a giant shield who can just kind of stick in the middle of the team, stick on some squishy targets and slowly wither them down, kind of like if a Renekton was in the middle of the team.
I think they changed her hate spike to have a little bit more AD ratio to kind of get rid of the AP burst Evelyn. Mm-hmm. So from there she kind of transitioned into this like hybrid tank.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's cool how she's evolved as a champion. I mean,
yeah, especially like how you're saying at the beginning of the season, it was just everyone ban Evelyn OP.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Evelyn was OP.
Yeah, she was a constant ban for a long time there, and then she kind of fell out of flavor, and then she got nerfed while she was out of flavor, and then came back into popularity. And this was the past couple weeks, I think, at IEM Katowice. That's where she was brought back. Same with Aatrox.
Yeah, well, Aatrox has always kind of been this is a good kind of segue into it. Aatrox was picked by Curse, and it worked really well. There was a lot of synergy between his team and the Aatrox, and played very well as well by Curse's top laner. I couldn't tell you from the top of my head right now.
Yeah, and I mean, as we transition into the listings here, Curse is in 4th place, which I'm pretty surprised at since Curse hasn't been doing too well until recently.
Yeah, they've in the last couple weeks they've been actually performing quite well. I think they've won most of their games. Most of their games though have been lately have been against the lower tier teams, so they have a better chance.
Mm-hmm. Were they against EG this week? I think they were.
Yeah, they were against EG. I know they were against Dignitas. I remember because we kind of had that argument. You thought Dignitas was going to win, and I said Curse was going to win just because they've been performing really well.
That's the game I'm thinking of.
Yeah, so it was Dignitas. Curse was one game on Saturday for sure, and I think they had another game the next day against someone, and they won, I think. Yeah. You have 3 men down on EG.
Yeah, EG actually was missing Snoopy.
Yeah.
They were missing Snoopy, who is their jungler, Crepo, their support, and I forget the last player that was missing. Was it Yellow Pete? So their bot lane and the jungler were gone. So they had 3 other people subbing in for EG. So in that case, it was almost a free win for everyone against EG this week.
Bjergsen cubed. They all had to go get their visas renewed.
So they're just following Bjergsen by 2 weeks, where Bjergsen had to leave for a while, and he came back this week, and he was behind in kills in the overall LCS because of his 2-week absence, and he's still back in 1st, which shows how powerful of a player he is, since he can take 2 weeks off and still be the #1 killing player.
He played really well. There was actually an interview with the casting desk and Bjergsen, and they were just asking, how does it feel coming back? And he said, yeah, Reginald did really well, so I wanted to come back and not just and do really well, so people aren't going to say, oh, get Reginald back on here. I wanted to perform super well so that people realized what they were missing, kind of.
Didn't they have an interview after the game where they had TSM's AD carry on the interview
Wild
desk?
Turtle?
Yeah, Wild Turtle. And they were interviewing him, and he was talking about how they let Bjergsen have kills, so he's happy, even though he's ahead of the AD carry.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like a big joke to them, but at the same time, like, Bjergsen's the crutch of TSM, where he needs to be doing well for TSM to be doing well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think necessarily true. I mean, we saw it even with Reginald coming in when he had renewing his visa. They were still winning games. They only lost one of their games during the time out of their 4.
To Cloud9, wasn't it?
Yeah, to Cloud9, which is a hard matchup. So I don't think they rely so much on Bjergsen. I just think Bjergsen's just a really good fit to TSM's team right now.
And with that, Cloud9 still in second, since it's Cloud9. CLG in third, and they worked their way up this season from probably around, 5th or 6th?
Yeah, they were down for a while. They were on a really big losing streak, and I think at around week 4, they really started stepping it up and winning lots of games.
Mm-hmm.
Getting
halfway
some
through the
key wins
season,
too.
something changed with CLG, and they just turned it all around.
Well, it was their roster. They finally got their full roster together. That's what it was.
Yeah, because they picked up the jungler from Lemon Dogs.
Yeah, and they got rid of Hotshot GG and stuff. So that's kind of what happened there. So CLG climbed up to third. Actually, not a terrible win rate in comparison to the rest of the teams. Curse is now 9-13 in 4th place, so that's kind of surprising, but it's exciting to see because Curse is a cool team.
It seems pretty low, 9-13. But then you look up and you see those top dogs of TSM and Cloud9 just really just killing it.
Because TSM Cloud9 win, I mean, you can see it. They win almost every game
Yeah.
they're in. Both are really strong in NA. I mean, usually when those two are playing on an LCS day, that's when you'll see the biggest viewership on Twitch.
To put TSM and Cloud9 score into retrospect, out of the 3 games TSM has lost, 2 of them have been to Cloud9. Not so much to say to Cloud9. Cloud9's 4 losses have been really, really all over the place. They lost 1 to TSM, 1 to Coast. I think they lost 1 to CLG.
And Dignitas.
And 1 to Dignitas. So Cloud9 only lost to TSM once, but they've beaten TSM twice. So they just haven't consistently performed against every team as well as TSM has.
For the most part, it's just TSM, Cloud9, and CLG sweeping around the bottom tier people.
Yeah, and then you kind of see this like bottom tier
Bloodbath
competition where they all are just working towards that 4th place. And then first, second, third is kind of just... It's really a battle to see if TSM can hold that 1st place. I mean, at this point, I think they can, but it's just so close. 19-3 and 18-4.
It's almost more fun nowadays to watch the lower matches because you don't know who's going to win.
Yeah, when I see a TSM Dignitas game or a Cloud9 Vulcan game, I just, I kind of just immediately... And I think that this is a bad way to look at the LCS because you always want to think that the game is progressing and teams are getting better. But when I see a Cloud9 Vulcan game, I just kind of assume, Cloud9's going to win. And sometimes I'll turn off the game and then I'll tune back in 20 minutes later and lo and behold, Cloud9 is stomping.
Yeah, I've almost stopped watching Cloud9 games just because I know the outcome before they even happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's still kind of fun to hear the commentary and a lot of the, looking at the team synergy and the team play of the teams. But even then, that gets kind of old, and to sit down and spend 45 minutes to watch a game that's really not going to keep you on your toes and keep you super entertained the whole time sometimes is not worth it. I'd rather be, playing some WoW or playing my own games or, getting into a ranked.
I agree with that.
But moving on to some of the big plays, Bjergsen on Zed was really scary, especially that first game of the entire weekend.
Yeah, so he was playing against Gragas, and he actually just 1v1'd him straight up, didn't have any jungler help, just went in, level 6, killed him, got out, and then he's just started split pushing. He started 1v1ing everyone, started, coming out of the big wraith area and just killing people and getting away. So he was creating mayhem, and a lot of the times the enemy team would have to ward up their jungle super hard and send more than one person down just to deal with Bjergsen, because he was just causing so much trouble for the other team.
I remember by the end of the game, he hopped on Caitlyn behind her tower, did probably an E and a couple of shurikens, and just ran away, and Caitlyn popped. Wait,
Yeah.
no, it was the very end where Caitlyn immediately vanished.
I remember he popped his ult on the Caitlyn, and the Caitlyn died, but the thing is the ult didn't even pop. So it was just like, you don't even need
was
the
that the
ult to
last
pop.
one of the game? Because there was like the very last kill, and this was against XDG. Yeah, TSM versus XDG.
Oh, I've been calling XDG Vulcan today.
They're the same
Weird.
team,
Yeah.
just renamed.
Anyways, yeah, I think it was against XDG.
Wait, Zed is back, or is it just?
He's not a bad champion. He's just a lot less played than some of the assassins mid right now. But Bjergsen, that being said, Bjergsen is the best Zed player in North America, hands
Right.
down.
Well, he was
And he's
probably
just-
picked this game because XDG had banned out Caston, Lulu, and LeBlanc. All three of them very strong picks for Bjergsen.
Yeah.
So putting him down on Zed, and it seems they last picked Gragas. So, I mean, Bjergsen's a really strong Zed, so, I mean, him picking that was no problem.
No, he played super well. So yeah, Bjergsen, just a fun player to watch. He's also really highly aggressive. I love watching him in games. That's the one thing that keeps me coming back to TSM games. It's just the whole.
Well, Cloud9 is just very statistical, and you'll see them just, okay, well, they're executing this now. Where with TSM, Bjergsen will always go for that flashy play and get the, like, kill, like, 3 turrets deep.
In other plays, Aatrox was doing work on Curse. He was playing really well. Like I said, had a lot of synergy with the team, and yeah, I mean, I can actually talk about in that game. It was Curse versus Dignitas, and I remember that the Aatrox was coming in at the top jungle by the golems, and he sees a Rise, and he wants to start dueling him, but he didn't realize that Crumbs on Lee Sin was there, and like the rest of the team was coming to support, so he tried to run away, but Dignitas was pursuing. So then there was this point in time when Boy on Lulu was walking up, and they communicated, and the Aatrox just slowly walked his way into the golem pit and got ulted right when he had, I think, like 200 health left, and he just slowly lifestealed, and it was just the craziest, most clutch Lulu ult I've seen in the game, because it was over the wall, through the fog of war, the communication was there, he just got the last 2 auto attacks of his passive just to get the healing. It was crazy. I was on my feet.
Yeah, that's the crazy kind of stuff you can get with Aatrox, where he gets that clutch heal right at the right time, because people don't expect the amount, and even when I'm playing him, I don't expect the amount of healing that I can get back, and I've 2v1 multiple people on Aatrox.
Yeah. So that was probably the coolest play I saw, because I
Meteos'
watched
Kha'Zix.
mainly Saturday. Meteos' Kha'Zix was really good too. He was just jumping around like a maniac. It definitely, like, the meat, as he said, Meteos really likes Kha'Zix, but it also fits the role that Meteos plays. It's a very high damagey, can make lots of early game punish really hard early game.
He likes to
other
be the
enemy jungler.
assassin and the carry for Cloud9.
I'm happy to see Kha'Zix coming back as a jungler though, because I remember when he had that cheesy spikes mid lane that he used to be, and that was just not. It was fun, but it just wasn't how he was really meant to be played.
I did not like the whole void spike phase where you would max stack and poke with him. I hated that. I thought that was like, it defeats the purpose of what he was as a
Right.
champion.
I mean,
He wasn't a poke champion. I mean, look at the way he's designed.
Exactly, and like once they buffed the claws though, he was a monster.
Yeah, buff the claws, nerf the W.
yeah, like I've talked about before, I started playing Kha'Zix by evolving the claws. So when the spikes came around, I was kind of into it, but not really, and then they nerfed it and made claws better. So it was the same way I'd always played Kha'Zix, So I was just like, okay, well, I can play him the same way I always have, and I know what I'm doing, and he's overpowered this way, and it's just still been popular that way. So I've just been playing Kha'Zix consistently since he came out.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the plays I've seen. Did you see any plays, Brian?
There was a CLG Coast game, and who was it? It was Shifter that was doing some amazing work. I almost called him my MVP for today, but decided to switch to Bjergsen. And I guess segueing into personal MVP here, yeah, Bjergsen, first week back and still just dominating Summoner's Rift for TSM.
Yeah. From that, do you have a personal MVP?
Bjergsen.
Nice. John, before I give my personal MVP, I don't think you watched the games, but from what you've heard, do you have your own personal MVP? Could you make a guess?
I mean, I always really love good Zed play. That's why I was really surprised he was back. So I'd honestly say Bjergsen too, just because I'm probably gonna go watch some highlights after this of his I almost said his Bjergsen, his Zed.
Of his Bjergsen. All right. Well, yeah, I mean, Bjergsen played really well, but you guys are just Bjergsen fans. I'm gonna give it to Voyboy. I thought he played really well this week. His Lulu was insane. He communicated with his team really well, and just had some really good calls, really good ults. Yeah. So.
Oh, I need to play this little intro thing so we can go on to the games that we have played this week. So let me find that. Oh wait, that's not it. There it is.
Beat down city. Population, you. Up top.
Alright, Julian.
So yeah, this next segment was brought to you by The Wong Answer. Divided into two teams, Jeremy Wong hosts a group of guests into a series of introspective and thought-provoking scenarios. Here, guests debate the most bizarre ethical, political, or personal interest questions a human mind can possibly imagine. Episodes released weekly on newappnetwork.com.
Long Answer is a fun show. Last week's was really fun to listen to. I don't know if you guys listened to it at all.
I've listened to it. It's actually it's very entertaining. It's a good half hour.
I actually have a semi-interview with Jeremy because he was on the Sundown Shoutcast with us on Wednesday, and I just got to upload this. I know it's interesting to talk to him because I haven't actually met the guy, but trust him through Robbie, and he's been doing a great job with the show, having no broadcast experience whatsoever.
Yeah. No, he sounds really good. He's really entertaining. He's just a really good host, actually.
I have some good clips from it somewhere.
Do you want to build a snowman?
No, that's you. Anyway.
Okay.
About your games.
The like 4 I've played this week. I mean, it's better than last week. I played more this week than I did last week. I dropped out of Gold 1 into Gold 2, and then immediately went back up to Gold 1 because I was so angry. I was on a losing streak, and then it dropped me back to Gold 2, and I was just so frustrated. So I was like, I'm just gonna play these out, and I'm gonna get it. And then I ended up winning 4 games in a row, so getting back up to Gold 1. So I'm pretty stagnant. Haven't moved anywhere. I feel like I'm taking 2 steps forward and then 2 steps back.
That's
and
how
then
it's
2 steps forward
felt
again.
for me this entire season. I did a solo queue game as a Moo, and the entire team is just fighting from the get-go. So it's like, okay, classic solo queue. I'm not going to be winning this one, so I don't have to fight through it. And we throw it, we bring it back, and we throw it again. Because we had this hyper-aggressive Jax that always decided he needed to be the first one in and didn't let me initiate.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you dodge? If you see people that are just like I mean, sometimes it's just take the point loss instead of dealing with those people.
In retrospect, I probably should have, but I didn't want to sit through a queue again. And you never know if you're going to win or not.
Very true, very true. I don't know. As soon as I have that scenario where I feel that people are arguing in team chat, or you just get that one troll who just decides to start picking on people right away, I will just dodge it because I just don't want to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you, John? Have you played League in the last while?
No. It's been a while since I've played League.
I'm actually searching your profile, and the last game you played was Dominion on February 8th.
Ooh, man, over a month ago. Almost 2 months.
It's been a long time.
I know. I've been really busy with my studies, so I just really haven't had a time to play to commit an hour or so to League. So I've just been playing Hearthstone because I can play 2 games really quick and then just take a break.
John, when I Google your Smurf and LOL King, your account and LOL King, my Smurf comes up as the second search.
Oh really?
Because my Smurf must just have all games duo queued with you, and then Brad comes up third.
So yeah, I mean, do you remember any of your last games before you kind of had to go deep into your studies?
Oh man, I know that I was really starting to play a lot of Nidalee, and Brian had gotten me that Pulsefire Ezreal skin for my birthday, so I was really trying to play a lot of Ez. I do really enjoy him, but I've just never been good with him.
So you were playing him the standard AD as.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I never have been good with him. It's just I never had a support really to synergize well with when I would play duo, and it was just easier for me to play support. I've always just been a support player.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be a main support player, and it took me a while to become an AD carry player, but I don't know. I don't know when I made that shift from a supporty to a carry, but there was that one.
It was very easy to go between support and carry when you understand one. You can understand the other from playing with it so much.
Yeah, definitely. Like I don't consistently play support, but when I am made to play support, which I don't mind, but if I have to play support, it's not like I'm going to play bad. I actually still have quite a bit of the mechanics from when I played and just from watching and playing bot lane and just knowing both sides of it.
Yeah, of course. For me, support was like I loved playing carry, but I really preferred support. Thresh in Season 2 was my #1 played champion in ranked. Like I just would always nail those hooks if I could get him.
I guess Thresh runs in the family, considering he's my most played right now.
I love Thresh. He's fun. I don't know. I feel there's so much more you can do with support. Like you are the playmaker, but you get no credit for having good plays.
Mm-hmm. Support's the goalie of League of Legends. You get no credit for anything.
Ooh, low blow to goalies. They would hate you.
Yeah, seriously, man. I was gonna say they're like the linemen.
Or that too.
What is this sport thing you talk of? We only play video games here.
It is the oh man, I could give you a Hearthstone reference.
New Varus skin came out and I jumped on that. It's really cool. It's Arctic Warfare Varus, and it's a 1350 skin or whatever the amount is, that 13 something. Because it came out, it was on sale for like 20 something% off, so it's a 975. And I just been playing a lot of Varus. Every time I go in, I'm like ADC, and I'll pick Varus, and I've done pretty well. I have a really good win rate with him right now. I'm 12-5 with him right now with a 5.3 KDA.
So what makes it a 1350? Like what kind of special effects does it have?
So, well, first of all, the model is really, really cool. It looks, the splash art. Okay, I'll start with the splash art. Splash art is just intense. You looks like a assassin-y kind of a Metal Gear Solid enemy. When you get into the game already, he doesn't feel different. He all his animations are like his auto attack animation, walking animation, dances. All those are the same. There's no new voices, so that kind of surprised me. But he does have some pretty cool particle effects. His Q, the bow will like glow from the tip, and then when you launch it, they'll have like these stringy white things come off of it, and it makes a really cool sound. The W, his blight, is actually grenades that float around people. Cool. Yeah, there's small little frost grenades, like frost tinted. His E is really cool because it's like he's launching down like electrical wire on the ground. So he'll launch it from his bow, and the little patch on the ground will be sparking. And so it gives that effect, whereas when people are walking through it almost feels like you're paralyzing them. That's why they're slowing down. And his ulti it's just a massive arrow, that thing. It looks pretty cool. It's like a sling, like an arrow with attached like chains, so it chains people up. So that's pretty cool. And his recall animation is really sweet. He does the whole James Bond, shoots his arrow gun into the air and then rappels up.
That's really
cool. That's sick.
Rappels up. I feel like that's the wrong word, because rappelling is to go down.
Gets hoisted.
I would
hoist
assume
it
it's
up.
just he
Or
climbs.
climbs.
Yeah, it climbs up. Yeah, it hoists him up. So it's a really cool skin. I would suggest it to any Varus players. It's definitely my favorite out of the three, like hands down. I never been super into the Blight Crystal Varus and Arclight Varus. As much as they are pretty cool, they've just been kind of subpar. Whereas this Arctic Ops Varus is really sweet.
So fun fact, between the three of us, we each own a different Varus skin. I run the Arclight, John runs Blight Crystal, and you run the Arctic. Yeah.
And I run the
Arctic Ops.
coolest one.
That is a sweet one,
Just saying.
man. I really liked the Blight Crystal. It really, I don't know. I thought it was cool. It had that dark appeal to it.
I like the orange. I think it really pops, and that's really cool.
Yeah, I like the color scheme on it. I mean, it's an older skin though, is the thing.
Yeah, that one was released with
Him.
with Varus. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the first champion to only be released with one skin.
Yeah, and then I mean the Archlight Varus was I like it. It's just I don't really like how light it is. It's really hard to see any of his particle effects.
That's
and
why
stuff.
that and the Justicar Syndra are banned in LCS
Yeah, those-
because you can't recognize the particles as well.
Yes, fun fact to y'all: those two skins are banned because their particles are hard. I think there's a couple actually. There's a couple other skins that are banned too. That's something I would like to research. Just research what skins they can use in the LCS, because obviously they play on a different server.
Mm-hmm.
So, and sometimes they'll have skins and sometimes they won't. And I noticed that Thresh players never use skins. You never see a Thresh skin. But-
I've seen the
I've
undersea
seen
one.
the Davy Jones one. I forgot what it was called. But
Deep
I've
Terror.
seen that. Yeah, the Deep Terror, but I've never seen the championship one.
Usually, if the skin changes too much about the champion, you won't see it in LCS. Like that's why you don't see the Nocturne legendary skin, because it changes Nocturne too much.
Mm-hmm.
So like
That's a
someone,
sick
so
skin,
someone
though.
spectating wouldn't be able to recognize it. So as long as it doesn't change the champion to like an extreme, then you can see the skin there. Like you won't see the new Udyr skin.
Yeah.
I know.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Kale's
like
legendary you can see.
I'm
But
surprised.
you see Pulsefire Ezreal.
Yeah, that's.
No, you don't. Not in LCS.
I thought.
No,
Yeah,
because Pulsefire
sorry.
Ezreal, you won't see him, and his Q, the range in his Q is different on the skin for some reason. You'll see the blue Ezreal in LCS, but you won't see Pulsefire.
That's true. Okay, yeah. I actually now when I think of it, I don't see Pulsefire. Yeah. Anything else of your own games?
Well, we played that one duo Q game this week.
Yeah,
you
the
were,
one.
You were on Rise, and I was J4 Jungle.
Oh yeah, I've been playing Rise. I'm enjoying the Rise. I went 12-4-4. I'm looking at my match history now, so I did well.
Why is Rise back? Sorry. Just,
He got a
I'm
buff last
confused.
patch. I think was
He
his
got a
attack
buff
range.
last patch to his Q. It's a longer range. Before he had like such a small range.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
Other than that, he kind of fits a really good niche for top lane. He's good against the bruisers because he can just farm back and farm up and not lose trades. He can win those trades quite easily.
Yeah, because in mid-season 2, he was pretty popular by the Korean picks up top, and then they really kind of screwed him over with that Q nerf. Right?
Yeah, they hit him pretty hard.
So with LCS, it seems that you can't use any skins that are legacy, because they want people to use skins in LCS that people watching are going to see and want to buy. So you can't use skins that are not available, and also skins
okay.
that, like I said before, if they're too different, then you won't see those either.
Well played, Riot. Well played.
It's all a marketing strategy.
I know. I would not have thought that, but I mean,
It's so crazy how everything's a marketing strategy. Everything's
Yeah.
something to help progress and make more money and progress the game.
I mean, if you really like the game though, which I do, and that's why I bought stuff because I love supporting this game. I think it has a great community to it, and I think it's just so cool that people like come and watch these pro gamers play. They're good at what they do.
Well, that's our crutch to justify buying skins. Is I love this game. I'm gonna put some more money into it.
I mean, it helps to make the game better though. I mean, I could just be blowing it out my butt, but I think it helps them make the game better. And I mean, they keep releasing new stuff, and they have time to hire more people. And
Well, yeah, Riot's been growing exponentially.
yeah,
Like,
seriously.
bigger and bigger. LCS just came out of nowhere, and they have this entire sports production going on.
speaking of community, you've been playing a lot of Hearthstone, John.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to, talk about how the community is in that game and compared to League, and if it's better?
It's hard to tell because you don't have a chat. You just go into games and you have the little emoticons or little emotes. So I've always been the type of player when I played StarCraft, when I played League, just always wish people good luck, have fun, and I feel more people are willing to just always say like, oh, like greetings traveler or whatever. And
Greetings, traveler.
Greetings.
I mean,
I greet you.
All right.
and I've
Yeah.
watched I've watched Hearthstone streams because I'm just curious to see what people who actually have like all the epics and stuff, how they play, and I don't know, they seem like they're just really chill. It seems like people don't get as angry at Hearthstone.
Well, it's a card game. I mean, it's hard to.
And I
Yeah.
also
Angry, 'cause
feel like
it's all RNG.
you're not depending on other people. Too.
Exactly. It has that. It's easy to know where you made a mistake in Hearthstone versus League, where it's hard because in League it's hard to say because sometimes it isn't your fault, but sometimes it is. Whereas Hearthstone, you're like, oh, I should have saved my silence. Now I'm just getting wrecked by this.
Yeah, it also like brings the question: is there something you can bring over from Hearthstone strategies to keep yourself calm, thinking actions through and all that type of thing, and bring it into League, or are they just completely different games and they don't really transpose at all?
No, I think they're very similar actually. I mean, as much as people think, I think League is a strategy game to heart. I mean, for computer, I've always played strategy games. Like I said, I was a big StarCraft player back when Wings of Liberty was released, and that's obviously a strategy game. And Hearthstone is a strategy game, and League too. I mean, you think about you need a number crunch, how much mana you have as when you're Varus, because I mean I've played them. Those queues are gonna be expensive. You need to calculate in, hey, do I have enough queues to keep spamming this, or can I burst them?
Yeah, for sure. Like I like to think that Hearthstone is there's like a scale, and on the left you've got strategy, on the right you've got action play,
Yeah.
and Hearthstone's really far on the left for strategy, and bring it over right a bit, and there's StarCraft, and move kind of closer to the righter side is League. So
And then there's just like Super Smash Brothers, which is all just reaction time and practice.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely.
Have you ever watched one of those? Sorry to like sidetrack. Have you ever watched people play Melee?
I just did this weekend after the LCS. They were having a small competition, and for some reason I sat down and I watched maybe 20 to 30 minutes of that. And it's fun, but I have no idea what's going on.
They're
And they would
just-
talk about
Yeah, they're so like the people are so insane. I watched a game between a Sheik and a Falco, and just the amount of times these people could just fall off and grab the edge and just air juggle people was insane. It just put my Super Smash Bros. Skills to shame.
I saw a
my
post.
Super Smash Bros. Skills are awful. So
I saw a post on Reddit of this Donkey Kong that was just like dancing, this giant dance around the edge to get grabbed back and hit into a snake grenade and just died from it, even though he did this really fancy get back to the stage move. I gotta find that.
But back on topic there. I think Hearthstone is definitely the strategy and the aspect where if you can practice in that game, if something wrong happens, it's easy, to keep calm, and you can take that over to League. Because I know with League, it's easy to get stressed out about plays and not making plays, or when you're behind. Because in Hearthstone, like I know I've gotten stressed out and then came back from games where I've been behind.
yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm gonna play another transition here because apparently you guys can't hear it through the mixer for some reason. So
Yeah, just let me know.
Yeah.
Better nerf Aurelia!
All right, so this is where we talk about game info, nerfs and buffs coming to champions, cool stuff going on within the game, and I think the first big one of note is these big changes to Pantheon coming in.
Yeah, he's getting a really big nerf, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Mostly his ulti, because his ulti right now he can jump from mid lane to bot lane really easy, and now they're retuning that to where if he's standing in the pool, like the respawn pool from the Nexus, he can just about hit the end of the Nexus.
See, I think this is actually the right direction to bring Pantheon. Like, I mean, I'll say it. His damage is a little bit high right now, but it's not overly high. You can definitely you switch up your playstyle.
Yeah, but he falls off really hard late game though.
He can. The thing is, it's really with the ulti range. It was really hard to not get ganked by him. But now with this change, I think it's in the right direction of nerfing him.
Because he could come from way far behind the tower and just drop into a lane, and you could never expect it because you can't get wards back that far.
You know, I think it's also it was kind of BS. I mean, Pantheon was developed to be a laner, right? So the ult was not really meant to be kind of like a TF thing. You can use it to gank, you can use it to get back to lane, but now as a jungler, it was just too strong because it doesn't matter where he is. He can really quickly get down for a counter gank. He can quickly gank with it all the time because he's a jungler. He doesn't have to worry about laning. Doesn't have to worry about using it ever for his own lane. He can use it wherever he wants, whenever he wants.
Julian, do you remember the duo queue game where you and I were in bot lane and the enemy had a Pantheon mid? And he was getting fed off of whoever our mid was, and we had a fight in bottom where you and I both got away with a little bit of health, and all of a sudden the Pantheon ring appears like from mid lane into bot lane, and all he had was a Hydra, and both of us just evaporated.
Yeah. No, see, this is definitely the way they should nerf Pantheon. Don't touch his damage. And I think that if they just they tweak his ulti, then he won't be so mobile, he won't be so annoying, but he'll still have, what keeps Pantheon, which is his early game aggressiveness, the stun, the block, early tower dives, and he's still the Pantheon champion.
Because, the ult was really the only thing that needed a retune. Everything else is perfectly fine as is and has been balanced for a long time on Pantheon.
Yeah.
As for other changes, they're working on retuning Lee Sin somehow, because right now he is an assassin in the early game who becomes a tank in the late game. No matter how well he does early game, he's going to eventually have to turn into a tank.
Man, I'm so surprised about these Lee Sin retunes because I thought Lee Sin was Riot's prize champion. I swear, I thought Lee Sin Riot was like he's the perfect champion because it just seems like that.
Yeah,
it just seems like Lee Sin's the perfect champ.
I was surprised to see that they're changing him. Honestly, I read through the patch notes really quick, and I was surprised because I feel like he's always been a champion that excels with skill at the game. He's not so much he's been broken.
And one of the changes they were going to do, I believe it was his E, where they're decreasing the initial damage it does, but depending on the amount of people it hits, it's going to do either more attack speed or more auto attack damage. So it's something to keep him relevant in the late game instead of just falling off as he constantly does.
Yeah. Gragas is getting a rework though.
Well, that's because his current playstyle is really toxic, because he was meant to be a tank, and I mean, well, you can talk about this one since you've told me many times this Gragas story.
Yeah, I think we've also talked about it on the podcast, but I'll say it again. Gragas back in the day when I was playing he was made to be like a tank, like an 80 tank bruiser maybe. And when he was released, all his recommended items were like tanky. He had Will of the Ancients, back in the day, throwback. He had Aegis of the Legion was also one of his things. Heart of Gold was another recommended item, and Merc Treads. And it was just like it's super throwback. This is like way back. Season 1. This is
like 2 years. This is over 2 years ago.
This is over 2 years ago. This is season 1, so this is like almost 3 years ago. Anyways.
Remember the Heart of Gold.
Always remember. It's in our heart. Anyways. But then people kind of saw that mainly his ulti ratio was really, really high for AP. So then they started building him like a mage. But he was never meant to be like that, so his playstyle is really wonky. It's not the way they kind of want it to be. I mean, he's this AP champion who can knock you back into melee range to do more damage in melee range with he has randomly high auto attacks. Like his auto attacks can hit really hard too. It's like he's just a weird champion that doesn't really fit the current meta or the way they wanted to design the champion. And the only reason why they did is because Gragas was getting popular that way, and so Riot thought, why don't we just, buff up his AP ratio of his Q, and now he's a mage.
And what makes it really OP is just that he can still be kind of tanky and then throw out an E ulti combo and completely nuke someone in the late game.
I was gonna say his ability to like CC and with those dispositions and just his sheer amount of damage is and his tankiness, like you guys are saying, it's just ridiculous. He just brings way too much to a team.
I hate seeing him get ahead in solo queue because then they're wrecking the entire team by themselves.
He's definitely someone I ban every once in a while if I think of it. He's not always a ban, but sometimes I'll think of what I'll look around and see what's happening, and sometimes I'll ban him out.
He's no Malphite in Season 2 ban.
Yeah, what I saw change-wise was they're kind of making him a little bit more melee-centric, but they're decreasing a lot of his AP ratios because, quite frankly, those are really strong right now. And
Yeah.
they were making his like belly gut dash thing forward, like that's gonna stun now instead of slow, and it
I think
gets
it's
like,
called Body Slam, actually.
that would be, yeah, that sounds about
His
right.
belly gut, belly gut ability.
Can't think, okay, guys.
Yeah, so that's gonna be good. I definitely want to see some Gragas rework. He's weird. I don't like playing against him. I don't like playing him, so it doesn't affect me.
Otherwise, Lulu changes. A lot of AP nerfs and timing nerfs on things, because, yeah, she's really popular right now, and I'm not sure why they want to nerf her, but I mean, I can see it just because of the popularity.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's still no LB nerfs.
Yeah, well, I think she's in a good place, because she's pretty balanced, where if she gets behind,
Yeah.
she's not doing anything, and she can really only take out one person, kind of like Fizz.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I think the Lulu changes are. Honestly, I would have given it a couple more weeks, and like she would have not become flavor of the month, I think, and she would have just died off on her own. I don't think she can consistently be played like this.
Mm-hmm. And Kha'Zix's ulti actually is getting popular as the first thing to evolve on him, because now when he evolves the ulti, it gets the 3 stacks as normal, but they last longer, and I believe he gets more armor and magic resist for it, but I'm not entirely sure.
I think so, yeah. So he gets like tankier.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. And there's something rune changes.
Yeah, they're changing some ratios on rune, and I believe there's something with the lifesteal quints as well were reworked a little bit.
Any reason in particular why they're changing runes? It's
I don't really remember the reasoning behind it.
I
it just
think
seems so odd that they would change runes. I feel those are
I think of the last times they've touched runes. It's since the beginning of the game.
All right,
So I think they're just kind of outdated, and they wanted to just kind of
touch it up.
according
touch
to
it up a
Riot,
bit.
we took a closer look at the rune system after our original announcement and decided that our plans weren't going to get runes where we want them to be. We're still committed to exploring the best way to make runes an interesting and dynamic system for all players, but in the meantime, we'll be implementing some basic changes in the next patch. So, let's see. Armor stuff going up. Let's see, all champions will gain +4 base armor. Scaling armor is going up. So it looks like they're just increasing a lot of stuff on these wards. Health going up, scaling health going up, health regeneration going up, glyphs, cooldown getting buffed. Let's see, magic resist getting buffed, mana regen getting buffed, scaling magic regen getting buffed, cooldown reduction buff, scaling cooldown reduction buff, attack speed buff, lifesteal getting nerfed. So it looks like a buff to everything but lifesteal, which is getting decreased by a significant amount.
Lifesteal quints were a little opes though.
Yeah,
I always felt they were a little opes.
And in response to lifesteal quints getting nerfed, the offensive mastery feast will now restore 3 health on minion kill, up from 2.
Huh. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So it looks like this is really just going to affect like AD carries the most, because they usually run the lifesteal quints.
I was gonna
Damn.
say.
I'm gonna have to switch it up a bit.
In other news, lots of skins coming out recently, which we don't see too often. Usually you see like 1 skin per patch maybe, but we have like 4 or 5 dropping, including the
Yeah,
Arclight
I
Virus.
mean, like the Arctic Virus, for example. Is the Void Fizz coming out soon, or
I hope so. I want that skin really bad because it's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Void Fizz? We've talked about that. Super Galaxy Rumble, which looks really awesome. I think I'm gonna pick up that one.
Mhm.
Finally a Rumble skin.
Yeah, well, it's
Right,
hard to
Rumble's
make a
needed
Rumble
a
skin
skin.
because he has a lot of different particles to manage. So it's
Yeah,
a lot of
it's
stuff to
true.
work on. John, have you seen the video for it?
No, did Fizz get a visual rework?
Not that I
No.
remember.
Oh. He's just
And what's this Atlantean Sundra?
Well, there's the Atlantean Fizz, and this is a Syndra where she kind of looks like Ursula from The Little Mermaid, and her orbs are, I think they're little bubbles or little like things of water.
Ooh, I might buy that skin too. Damn.
That one looks pretty neat. I already have the Justicar Syndra, so I don't really plan on picking another one since I don't play her much as is.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick up that one. Though I kind of wanted a Syndra skin, but I didn't really like the Justicar.
Oh yeah,
Syndra.
it's cool. The Atlantic one, I just looked it up.
Yeah, I think the Justicar one actually I like it a little more than the Atlantean, but I haven't seen any
really?
videos for what the Atlantean does particle wise.
Yeah, definitely check out the particles on it because I'm pretty sold on it. It looks really sick.
Oh yeah, haven't you been? Weren't you playing Syndra at one point?
Yeah, I used to play. She was like my backup mid for compared to my maining brand.
Yeah, no, Syndra's my kind of solo queue mid if I need someone a mid to play. That and Ziggs, and I have a couple if I had to, but yeah.
Yeah, my mid for the most part is Zyra because I can't really do any other mids too well. Fizz is I'm decent with.
I was like only good with TF and brand. I just stuck to 2 champions.
And then the last one, Rengar skin,
Finally.
and it looks like
Rengar's
looks like
skin.
Nightcrawler from X-Men, where he's blue and kind of cat-like.
Oh yeah, okay, that's cool.
So I assume that's their inspiration for this skin, but I can't really think of anything else.
I
that
don't
would
know.
be-
I still like the Predator one more. The Predator one is a lot cooler. And
I still think they should make the Fantastic Foreskin bundle.
Oh god, not this again. Who was in the Fantastic Four skin? The poorly named skin pack that you made up?
It's the Fantastic Foreskin bundle. Emphasis on foreskin. And it's basically Zack is the Elastic Man, Malphite is the Thing, Evelyn is Invisible Girl, and Brand is the Human Torch.
Yeah, but then Zack's gonna be flesh colored.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Foreskin, flesh-colored Zack.
And then League of Legends gets an M rating really quick. I don't want to see what his stretchy fist looks like.
Oh god. Oh, stop. Okay.
Well, moving on, let me play this last one.
Here's a tip, and a spear behind it.
And it's Summoner Tips, where we give you tips on how to be a better summoner. Oh, and I guess we have a sponsor for this one, too.
Yeah. So the next portion, the Summoner Tips, was sponsored by the Good Fight Gamercast. If you're tuning in, it means you're ready to join the battle to improve, support, and grow the wide world of video gaming. Here on The Good Fight, we tackle the tough issues in gaming, discussing new and upcoming titles, discussing flaws, glorifying successes, shedding light on overlooked titles, and much more. The Good Fight broadcasts every other week on the New App Network. Check us out on Facebook.com/GoodFightGamercast and on Twitter at GoodFightGcast.
Good Fight's a cool show, too. You and I have been on it. I've been on it a couple times. You've been on it once, I think.
Yeah, I was on one of the early episodes. So.
Well, you and I were on there together on episode 2, and I was there for episode 1, and I think one of the episodes after that.
It's cool. I like it. I like tuning in every once in a while, just hearing about the games. There's a lot of knowledge and little things you can pick up that you probably didn't read about, because he definitely knows a lot. Anyways, Summoner Tips. This week, I wrote this one. Practice small mechanics. Create, custom games with your friends or by yourself, and just get in there and practice the small little things that are gonna, save you later. Practice CSing. Practice your really tricky flashes over the wall, your juke flashes. Practice your harassing, or when you need to duel, practice your dueling with a friend. Get a friend in and say, hey, we're gonna just duel each other, same champion or different
Yeah,
champion.
that really helps, man. When I was playing pretty serious over the summer, that was something that I would do a lot. That's how I learned how to play Void Spikes Kha'Zix, honestly. I just dueled with a friend for like 2 hours and just kind of figured it out.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely a really good way to increase your playing ability without having to risk games. If you wanna play a new champion, you can 1v1 with a friend. You could jump into a Dominion too. If, like, for example, Brian, his Yasuo, he's really good at dueling with Yasuo, not so good at laning. But
No,
that's kind
my Yasuo's laning is terrible because I learned to play Yasuo through Dominion, so I can teamfight with Yasuo and I can skirmish with Yasuo. Yasuo, but I cannot CS with him very well.
But if you find like a good happy medium where you bring him into Dominion for a bit, then you get really good. Like my Leona, I learned how to play Leona through Dominion. I brought her in, and all I would do is hit level 6 really quick and just practice landing my alts, long range alts, and it's actually helped me. I've had a couple games, Brian, you've been in them, where I'll like use a defensive alt, use a really aggressive alt, and like I'll use that to start off my combo because I'll be really confident in landing that alt.
I need to practice my Leona still, because I'm still not very good with her.
For practicing, something that Brian, you suggested I always wanted to try was where you practice with 4 people and you have a support, an AD carry, go against another support AD carry.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a great way to practice dueling in lane matchups. There's a community that Reddit had, which was silvers versus platinums, where it was platinum players like teaching silver players. So I was a part of that for a bit, and I remember
Back when you were in platinum.
Back when I was in platinum, but I
glory
remember
days.
I met this one guy who was an AD carry just looking for someone to like 1v1 against for practice. I was like, okay, I'll help you out. And then someone else in there was like, hey, I can help out too. I was like, well, is there any other person who wants to do like a support AD carry like versus one? So we had like the platinums versus the silvers on bottom, and you would tell them, okay, well, you didn't harass right here, or you put yourself out of position here, or you went for that minion when you shouldn't have, kind of thing. And then I think we switched up one where we had like a platinum on each side with one of the silvers, so that we can give them like advice as we went instead of just like, oh, yep, here's us stomping you. Here's what you did wrong.
Yeah.
It worked out pretty well though.
Mm-hmm. Definitely practicing with a friend. You maybe even getting a coach. I mean, not you don't even need like a really good player to coach you. You can get just some other pair of eyes helping you out. Just looking, just seeing, through a different opinion could also help you figure out what might be the mistake, why you might not be winning the duels in lane and whatnot.
Don't win the Reign of Gaming contest to get lessons from St. Vicious. He'll just teach you how to miss your smites.
Oh no, I missed my smite again.
That's a thing?
Yep, it's
Well,
been
no, he
advertised
doesn't
on Reign of
teach you.
Gaming.
He doesn't teach you to miss your smites, but he probably would.
LOL lessons giveaway. Win 1 hour lesson with St. Vicious, powered by Alienware.
Thing is, like, how much could you get done with 1 hour of
Not much.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, let's get in the game and champion select.
It would be basically like you'd play. I would assume you play like 1 game, maybe 2,
Mhm.
and then he would just like watch you play and be like, "Hey,
Yeah, you
CS
did this
better."
wrong, and yeah, I see, you weren't as aggressive as you should have been, and you should have just went all in really aggressive and went 3 turrets deep as Jarvan, like I do in every LCS game.
I know that he has a what's his name? Phantom Lord does a teaching thing, and he's actually really good. He'll get into games. He'll dual queue with you, and he'll support you and like make plays for you, but then tell you what to do. And then he's actually a really good coach. He used to live stream it and stuff, and it was lots of people would do it. Lots of people would get in, be like silver, and then 3 months, 4 months later, they'll be high diamond players because of it.
I feel like something that also helps you is, I did this a lot when I was with StarCraft. I would always watch people because I feel like they'll give you tips.
That was last week's summoner tip.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you missed it, man. You missed it.
Dang it! Because I was gonna say I love watching streams and Twitch.
Yeah.
I think Twitch is like one of the best ways to learn because you get to actually see people who are good, not just go on some website like LOL King and look up this build works for this diamond player.
Mm-hmm. No, like that was last week's, but yeah, if we can refresh, definitely watching people, reading guides. It's all really good ways, to learn, but also getting into the game and practicing by yourself is also a really great way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just trying to help.
No, you're helping.
Why didn't you listen to
still
last
love
week's episode, John?
Yeah, I thought you're supporting us.
I do. I haven't listened to a podcast in forever. They're just stacking up for me. I'm really far behind on all my podcasts.
Tisk tisk.
I know. Don't worry. I'm definitely subscribed.
That's good. I mean, I guess you don't really have much time because
No.
university would keep you pretty busy, especially in your. Is this your 4th year or 3rd year?
This is gonna be my 4th year, but I have an extra year to go just because changing majors.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I changed my major.
Nice.
Well, it's time to move on to our next and last segment of the show, which probably a lot of viewers of this show are tuning into because we are giving away RP. This is our final segment, which is contests and mailbag, this week being the contest portion. It's all about answering emails, giving shoutouts, and announcing contest winners. We had over 300 retweets on our impromptu giveaway this week to launch our Twitter account for the show. We currently did a giveaway 2 weeks ago to launch New Amp's personal Twitter account, so this one was to get this one up and running, and I was really surprised with the amount of followers we got here.
Yeah.
Nothing? Oh, Julian. There you are. I was like,
We're
oh,
really,
did he
really
disconnect?
close to 300, actually. We're 297 followers, so thanks so much for all the follows, all the retweets, and all that. That's, like, super, super cool. If you're listening, don't forget to also, like, head on over to the New Amp Twitter as well and follow there, too, because there's lots of other sweet podcasts and news stuff that's also put there. So if you like podcasts, if you like the New Amp team, there's lots of good stuff on that Twitter as well. But without further ado,
drum roll, please. The winner. That was as good of a drum roll as we're gonna get. The winner is Miss Nixie. On Twitter is at Miss Nixie League of Legends or Miss Nixie LOL. So we will get in contact with you via a direct message on Twitter and get you that awesome RP, so you can buy some cool skins.
Congratulations.
I know our previous winner, Poke Nathan, I was in contact with him, and he's going to send me a screenshot of what he's bought with his RP. So I think he's actually gifted it to people, so I'll maybe put that up on the New Amp Network Facebook account and the Twitter and show his support.
All the social networks. Yeah, did we get any emails this week? Any questions? Or
I don't think we got any questions. I put a couple out on Twitter about people's thoughts on the Pantheon changes, and all I got were people favoriting it, so I don't think that anyone was really like, oh yeah, this Pantheon, this, in my opinion, is like, okay, well, I guess we'll just give our own opinions here.
Well, if you're tuning in, we'd really, really enjoy if we had some questions to answer, anything about they don't even have to be questions, they can be statements about the games, but if you want to ask us something about us as hosts, if you want to ask something about the game, you want to clarify something, you want to tell us how awesome we are, you want to tell us how sexy our voices are, you want to tell me that I suck, yeah, sure, but if you want to send me a question, that'd be pretty cool.
You can send those to our email at bestpodcastna@gmail.com, or you can send us a message or a tweet on Twitter at bestpodcastna. I think that just about wraps up Best Podcast NA for March 24th, 2014. You can check out our weekly episodes at newampnetwork.com and make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever great podcasts are sold. Keep a lookout for Best Podcast NA and New Amp tweets for contests and other giveaways. I'm trying to work something out with Connor of the Good Fight Gamercast to give away maybe a Steam game or two. So keep your eyes peeled for that, and we'll see how that goes. And of course, this has been a production of the New Amp Podcasting Network. For more audio enjoyment, check out our website at newampnetwork.com, and you can like and follow us on social media at New Amp Network on Twitter and on Facebook at facebook.com/newampnetwork. You can follow me on Twitter at Shutterwhales and Julian at Jacusis. If you feel like following John, what's your Twitter account?
jhaig1992. Yeah, that's creative.
Very creative.
Yeah.
As always, guys, thanks for listening, and this is Best Podcast NA.
We clear.